And we were just talking about St. Augustine, but we're going to digress. But so I'm going to ask the question to all of you. And I want you to kind of illuminate on this. What if I told you that you knew everything that is going to happen in your life, that everything has unfolded in your life to this point, that you knew this before you took a breath into this life, and you still chose it? Your answer is no, you wouldn't have done it?
Yep.
That was my answer. That was my answer, and I struggled with that for 22 years. So, and you? Same? And you?
I would have done it, yes.
You would have done it, okay.
You would have done it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I have done it, except I did it, and I know it. But I still didn't believe it. It took me 22 years to reconcile. That like, okay, then, so let's just hypothetically, let's say you knew it and you still did it, okay, even though you say no, but just hypothetically you did it. Then what the question came to me is this. Okay, now if I accept, and I do, I chose this, knowing every aspect of it, but there's always the fork in the road, the choices we make, how we get distracted by life. It's not a straight roll, it's not a straight run, but when we take on this life, we understand the ingredients, the possibility of a distraction in life, right? So this is really I would say this is huge for everyone to really illuminate on this, because if you did, even though it's like, God, no way, no, how would I do something like this? This is just out of my mind, your mind, and that. Because that was precisely my answer when it was given to me 30 some more years ago. But I spent 22 years, when I used the word 22 years, because it took me 22 years. And after 22 years, I said, okay, I got it, I own this. Then the next question came, why? Mm-hmm. What was the price? The price, like the winning thing, would be so important that I would be willing to do this, or anyone for that matter. So that became my quest, to really tease out, clear out, and understand, which became, so first of all, from my knowledge and what I understand is, so I went through that, then I came, oh, okay, that makes sense. I think when we take the breath into this life, intellectually understanding what you are going to go through is like a labor pain. You know, doesn't that oftentimes mother said, well, one of the things that if a man could have, I think my husband used phrase, if a man could have a baby, the abortion would be a sacrament. Because the pain would be too much. They wouldn't do it, right? So it wouldn't even be a question. So in terms about women, we have a tendency to, all of us, like a lot of pains, particularly having children, we forget how painful it was at the time, particularly natural childbirth, right? We used to look at the beautiful baby and you get distracted and it's wonderful, and then you just kind of justify to your, like, oh, it was worth it and all. But at the time when you're going through, oh my God, did I lose my mind? You know, why did I do it, right? So in a way, to me, the journey of life is very similar. Intellectually, you know, it's like when you look at, oh yeah, I can do that. I can climb that mountain. I'm going to try that. Sounds good intellectually, then you think you figure all out, right? You go, you look at all the steps that you have to do, and it looks like it's doable, very much doable. Oh yeah, I can do it. It's like a mountain climber, right? They say, I want to climb that mountain. And somebody would say, it may kill you. Oh, but I can do it. Oh, it would be so worth it. Isn't that why they do it and they still die and all sorts of things? They do. But they don't feel, they will not really feel intellectually. What is it like to be so cold in the top of the Himalayas, going halfway? What's it like to be suffocating? They can't really feel it. It's all in your head. So to me, this is what the journey of all human souls coming here, because we want to improve, we want to learn, we need to learn, we cannot move on to the next layer of knowledge. Okay.
So you are saying when we don't have body, our soul is knew that we are going to have a lot of suffering, still we decide to come.
Yes.
So all of our soul, they are not same.
No.
Means
Your journey is your journey. And
even I leave this body or before that.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what you are saying, that we want to.
You want to advance, you want to improve, you want to bring joy, or you may have unfinished things to do. But again, in the realm, it's like, I do not believe from my knowledge that we have like millions choice. Like, if you only have a knowledge, say 7th grade knowledge, you're not going to be a physicist because you don't understand all the nuance. So you're going to have to go through the different layers. If your goal is to become physicist, you're going to have to go through all that schooling and the knowledge.
We say in moksha at the end, when you are into that level, then you never come back.
Yes.
That's what
Well,
it is, right? In Hinduism,
Yeah.
like you highest level, then you are with, like we are soul, and then you go to super soul or Paramatma.
Okay, you're going
Or
to
if you
different
come
level.
back, keep coming back until we reach to that.
You
level.
reach that point, and once you reach that
So
point,
we have a choice. That means that's what you are different.
we all have a choice. We can remain under whatever the realm that we are, or we can continue to advance for whatever reason. And my pay level isn't that high that I figured that one out, although somebody has given me. But from my perspective, from my understanding, is that it makes perfect sense that, you know, you can, whatever the level we are, if we want to advance, we have to continue. And that continuum acquires the diligence to doing the work.
Yeah.
And even the paying the karma when we make mistakes.
Yes.
But you keep coming back. It's like telling your child who flunked the grade, right? They flunked the grade. It's very practical. Well, we need you to graduate. We need you to graduate at least high school. Then you have to go back to school. Well, I hate going back to school. I don't want to deal with all this. I'm afraid that you can't jump to 12th grade from the 8th grade. You're going to have to go through the 7th and 8th and 9th and 10th and then. But if you want to go through, get faster, you want to do better, then you can study really hard, and they might let you even skip because you learn that much knowledge in a shorter time if you stay singly focused. But if you get distracted, you may have to repeat them all over again, right? So from my understanding, so does that make any sense to you? And also, and I refer to it this way, whatever we earn economically, knowledge is like a banking. You're putting away your your savings account, let's say. If you only save $50,000 on your savings account, in the soul level I'm talking about, and if you have to go to shopping, you will not be able to shop in the realm of the much more evolved family because yourself hasn't evolved enough. So I'm only using the word financially, but in terms of from who you are, your DNA, whatever, is that you cannot be stretched into that pure land, if you want to call. That you have to develop, get stronger, and it's like it is no different than vibration. At the frequency of 24 hertz, you put them in a 200 hertz, you will just blow it out because you can't handle that higher frequency. So until there's a level of who we are, until we begin to strengthen and diligently, going through, that you can't get there. But if you are single-minded, you do it. So really the question came for me later on was what is the final price that worth so much that we are willing to go through, trekking through the Himalayas, bare feet, no food, you name it. I'm sure we all feel like that in times in life, right? Like, oh my God, this is just more than I can bear, I'm gonna die. But on the other hand, if you die, you're still gonna be the same place. Same.
You don't advance. That's what you are saying. If you don't advance and you don't collect that bank,
If, you have to clean up your mess,
Right.
whether it's here or whether it's there.
right?
As a Shurama at the temple I used to go Hindu, and whom I love, and she's a real thing, and she used to say, if your Uncle George was an idiot, I remember once with that, she said, and it's not verbatim, but it was close to it, and we were all laughing. If your Uncle George was an idiot when he was alive, what make you think he has a good advice to give you just because he's dead? Do you think just because he died, he became all of a sudden wise? No, he's still an idiot, or not very bright.
Right.
Right? So whatever you are at this point, if you exit out of the body, you're still the same. Your energy is still the same. That's a frightening little thought, isn't it?
That is.
It is very-
It is very frightening.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
But that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So that's why when somebody asks, like, I have encountered people who feels like life is so overwhelming, they want to exit out. And I usually say to them, go take a nap. And it sounds like I'm not taking it seriously, but I am taking it very seriously. I say, go take a nap. Get some drink of water, grab a cup of tea, go sit. And if you can't bring your level down for just a few minutes, go take a nap. When you wake up, it won't be the same. You will not be the same because things always move. Things always move. Things always change. There is no such a thing as ever stuck. It's always moving. Your chemistry would have changed, your body would have changed, your thoughts would have changed. So give yourself a time, just a few minutes, and then maybe a few more minutes. You will change.
Very true. I like this, yeah.
Yeah, you will change. Then think about it again, then maybe you need to go to sleep a whole night, Maybe you need more than a nap.
So isn't there a saying that somebody asks you for opinion, you just tell, let me sleep on it.
Let me see what?
Sleep
Somebody
on it.
ask you a question, difficult question, or ask you to make a decision. There's a saying here,
Yeah.
let me sleep on.
Yes. Absolutely. And it's,
So
yeah.
use the time to come out of that situation emotionally
Yeah.
and start to think about it objectively and then come back and respond instead of reacting to what's going on, right?
Exactly. And also, everything is temporary. And we all think everything is, when it's happening, particularly young people. And we are living in right now, the energy is so strong. Even my husband said today, oh yes, because I said something, and he said, I'm the one who was always saying that, but he said, oh, Misun, people are out there, they're driving crazy, they just doesn't look just like
Anxious.
tense.
People are very anxious.
Yes, very, he said, it must be like something,
Very anxious.
yeah. And he noticed, he said, I don't know. And I said, well, planet-wise, it is. So tomorrow is new moon. The supposedly planet is making changes in 2025 as like we have never seen it before, literally. And that, because it's gravitational, so we are going to be very, very much affected. We are going to be very much, so that's where it requires is meditation, grounding. I mean, literally me just driving to the park, throwing my shoes off and just walking in the grass and just taking deep breath. And just, even though like 5 minutes into it, well, I don't feel that much better. Well, walk another 5 minutes and walk 2 miles because I know physically I'm barefoot and I'm walking and I know my inflammation in my body will get reduced and just keep walking, just let it work out because when we are in crisis mode, anybody or anxious, you're checking your time. It's like, is that done yet? Is that done yet? Do I feel better? But it's just when even you don't feel it, that's doing it. Is that same as that saying goes? That I think is, I believe in the sun when something like, when even I don't, how does that phrase goes? I believe in the sun even when I cannot see. And I believe in God, even I don't feel it. That is that having a faith. And when you look at your life, really, and any of us, it's pretty darn miraculous, don't you think? The amount of things that we have dealt with just being born.
Yes,
It's a lot, right? But if, again, even that, if you look back and you realize how much it is, but from while you were living it, you just was living a day at a time. It's a cumulative effect. It's a cumulative effect. But what I do have to say to every one of them, and they can believe or not, that is all up to anybody. Truly from my understanding, not because somebody told me, because I have experience, I know for sure that every one of us come to this life from a choice, and sometimes our choices are within the confines of our limited assets we have built. I'm trying to use the lack of word using bank account, but it is. It's whatever that we have built onto it. And if we invest them wisely, and if we come to this life and we live our lives wisely and making choices instead of getting distracted. And I think I always go back to that. When I came to this country, one of the first things I was watching was Sesame Street. And in this little particular show in the Sesame Street, this little boy, they were like in a village, this mother says to this little boy, and he was going down the hill to go to the town in the market and on this day. And he was so excited, and it was a sunny day in a Sesame Tree, so his mother says, let's just for sake of the whatever, call him Henry. Henry, when you go down, bring me back container of milk, loaf of bread, and a stick of butter. She gives him the money, and he's very excited. So he's going down the hill on the road. He gets distracted. He's looking at beautiful flowers, looking at the blue sky, and he's looking at the birds and the dragonflies, and he's just so excited, like, oh my God, he's just by himself. He's independent. He gets to the market, and he sees the circuses and all those things, and he's just so excited. All of a sudden, sun is going down. It's time to go home, and the market is closing up. And he said, oh, I need to go home. My mother gave me a list. What was it? And he was trying to desperately remember. And so I see this little boy saying, oh, stick of butter, container of milk. But he was trying to go all over the place. He was trying to remember. When I saw that, what brought home to me at the time, I was probably only 18, is that was a story of all of us. We come with a deliver agenda. We have intention, but our intention get lost from a distraction.
We forget.
We forget, and we get distracted. When we get distracted, our missions, our personal missions, not somebody else. This is not even a God's mission. It's your personal mission. And the God's mission, that's a different realm that will go, because your mission is God's mission is your mission. But it is our personal choices and personal things that we want to acquire. But you go, and we have all experienced it. Somebody says, oh, you want to do such and such? You go, oh yeah, life's a show, we got to live. And you just go start doing something that you should have not done it. And that was fun, but now you just have delayed it. It's as simple as that. You just have delayed it, what you come to do. So that's a lot for all of you to think about. Because for me, I would explain later for the sake of the time, in terms of we want to do a meditation and I want to take your questions. But yeah, when I was given that information, literally, I was so angry, I thought, no, never in a million years. I already had a narrative of why my life is what it is. And I was willing to battle it out. But God was against me, and I was going to convince God. So that was my mission. But when it all told me, no, it was all on you. It's you made a choice. I thought, no. I said, nobody in the right mind in this world would ever choose the life that I have lived or life that it has come to be. It took me 22 years and really being honest and really look at it, inquiring, examining. And I thought, oh yeah, I did it. Okay, then the next thing came was, what was so important and what do I need to do? because I want to finish what I come to do as much as I can, as much as I can.
So how do you know what you came here to do? What was the intent of your...
Why I came here to do?
Like everybody, right? All of us needs to know why are we here and how do
Okay.
you find it out?
Well, in terms of looking at your own life, and instead of looking at what's happening, really just kind of examining your thought process, who you are, what is your intention, what is the role that you're playing in the life that has unfolded for you, what is that honesty? And some people's lives is a very personal, meaning that it could be a relationship, developing a wonderful relationship, finding their self-worth, that determining however small that it appears to be or however big it is that understanding this is what you come to do. And probably in a final analysis for every one of us, it is to stand on our center and still be kind and still be loving. And when I say that, it's not like hyperbole of people saying, we should all be loving and kind. But we all want to be a good person, right? I don't know one single person who gets up in the middle of the night or middle of the day and say, gee, I want to be a bad person, right? I want to bring a misery into some people's life because that's going to make me happy. They're going to bring a misery into people's lives because they think somehow that's going to make them happy, right? Because
They don't decide it, but they do that anyway.
What's that?
Like some people, they love to do that, make other people's life miserable. Like they don't think that intentionally, but that's what they do.
Well, because they are very much conditioned, but because they think by making other people miserable and everything else, it's going to bring them happiness.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but
putting somebody down make you
right.
Yeah.
But that's an ego. That's a false.
Yeah.
So more they do it, they're never going to escape from that prison they're building.
Peace by themselves,
Right. But they don't realize that.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean in terms of that it's never going to happen. But they're accumulating so much of a bad karma. But at also the same time, if we want to go down on that realm, is why have you drawn that person into your life?
Yeah, that's true.
Because it doesn't just happen like, it's like water seeks its own level. Like I knew a person who was in a very, very bad situation and relationship and thing, and I had to step in trying to help. And the question I asked, I said, okay, when I went there, I said, okay, you are a very, very intelligent person. If this was happening to somebody else, your friend, you would have said, run. You would have seen the whole picture. But you didn't do that for yourself. And I understand we get blind, when it comes to ourselves. But you didn't do that because you're so intuitive all the time that you saw this coming and 10 miles far, you saw it, and you would have told your friend, this is a bad situation. But you walked right through it. You went through every step of it. So my question to you is, what was it that you needed to learn that you did this? So I said, you need to come up with the answer, figure that one out, is to ask yourself, what was that you need to learn that you were willing to step into this? And if you don't figure that one out, you will continue to suffer because you feel like you were very much victimized, right? Because it's a reflection. Life is a reflection of, for whatever reason, again, sometimes we make choices that you think it's going to fix. It's quick fix, right? But it's the good or the bad. It's still your choices, your intention, hoping that it will fix. But deep down, I believe, every single one of us, we know the truth. You feel it in your bones, but you still override yourself. And you're just thinking, what, the miracles? Yeah, the miracles do happen. It's just going to magically happen. We all have to put in our effort. But at the end of the day, when we don't follow our intuition, our higher self, which is the truth, you can't do any better than honoring yourself by standing in that truth that is beyond personal. Because I used to ask one of my daughters, if I trusted you with the most precious diamond in this world, most precious one, I gave it to you and said, take care of this. I said, I know you would take such a good care of it. Well, okay, hello.
Oh my
You go,
God.
that's all right. Oh, it's just probably something I'm moving, but it could be, I don't think it's, but if it's anybody's in here, it would be a really lovely spirit. Just say, hello, I agree with you. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So I said, you would take such a good care of it, right?
Yeah.
But I said, you are worth more than a diamond of anything, any great value in this world. But you don't take care of yourself,
That I agree.
right?
Totally agree. I took care of my children, my husband before I took care of me. Now I'm putting myself before anybody else.
No, but the thing is, that's for everyone, right? Well, every one of us have a tendency to,
Yeah.
somebody else is better, something else is better, this is better. When we don't recognize, it's not from a place of an ego, but what we are is quite remarkable. Human journey and being human being is a remarkable. Oh my God, it's such a remarkable thing. It's a gift. It truly is. But we forget, and we get so caught up on this nuance of all the pettiness of life. Because at the end of the day, I always say, well, you're still going to die. You're rich, you're poor, whatever you have, or you don't have. You suffered, you didn't suffer, you're still going to die.
Everybody has
Yeah.
to go.
Everybody's going to exit out of this body. What's important is how did you use your time? And it's not from somebody else's perspective. It's what you're going to feel at the when end comes. Are you at peace? Are you looking at your life and saying, I had a great journey? And you never know. And we take it as such a granted. Last Saturday, actually, after I saw you, actually, I went to this little market down the street, that's the Asian market. I've been going there for 20 years. I say hello, and I say, like we all do, I'm sure we have a little markets in every neighborhood. You see them, but you don't really know them. I mean, I never knew their name. I know they're from Vietnam. I know they have one son. So enough to say, I don't go there too frequently, but, frequently enough. I always saw husband and wife. Always together. They're working. I imagine they immigrated from Vietnam to here, and they did this, and this was their life every single day, I think at least 6 days a week. So last Saturday, I look at her, and all the time I've been seeing her, she looked like last few months, she just looked unhappy, just looked like in pain, miserable. I can't figure out, nothing, we had a big conversation, but minimum that she was, smile, and she got some new help. And just was more, but lately it just felt really dark. So I was even asking myself, do I even want to go in that store anymore, literally? But somehow last week I decided to just stop and to pick up a couple of things. And by chance, whatever fate or whatever, she's the one who came to help me with the cashier checking out. And I looked at her and what just rolled out of my mouth was, oh, hi. I said, how are you? How's your son? And your husband decided to semi-retire. He's not working as much, so good for him, because I thought he was semi-retired because he has some help. I said, that's great, but I said, you keep working. And then just the whole sentence just rolled out of my mouth. I'm looking at her face, and just a little bit of tear came. And she looked at me, and she said, he died.
Oh.
And it took away my breath. And I said, literally, I said, oh my God, I am so, so sorry. Because I'm assuming, because he looked perfectly healthy, for me, he's not overweight or anything all the time. He's always there. And she never said anything, so I don't know. So I just said, oh my God, I am so sorry. My deepest condolence. But her tears started just rolling, and I didn't know what to do. So I hang on to her hand. Now, this is a woman who hasn't been speaking to me for the last few months and just walking around like I can't figure out. just tears coming. So I hung on to her hand. I can feel it and see the line is building up behind me, people. So I saw her help, so I waved her into, and I said, I waved. So she came, thank God. And I said, can you run the cash register? And I took her hand and I took her to the side. And I just held her. And she put her arm around me. She was just crying. And I said, what happened? She said, he died 4 months ago. And she said, you know, he had some like diabetes issues and things, but he was okay. They were monitoring. But then he just didn't feel good. He didn't feel good at all. So she took him to the local hospital, and he was diagnosed with stomach cancer, stage 4. And he died in 8 days later. 8 days later. He was hospitalized for 8 days. So reason I'm sharing this story is that we never know. We take for so granted.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that was the last thing that she ever imagined.
Yeah.
And so even like I have a podcast and I interview people about, you know, what their philosophy, and I always remind them, you're still gonna die. I live my life literally every single day. Every person I encounter is the first and the last person I may see. Literally, I have that in mind, and I don't want to leave any residue of any kind of karma or scar or whatever. So literally, I live with that. Even for me, so it could be a grocery person, it could be anybody I see. I am very mindful. I could be the last person they see. That could be the last person I see. I live in that place for a long, long time. But even me, it took away my breath of just the finality of she was alone. All of a sudden, now she's going to wake up tomorrow morning. And the day before. And she has to walk this path because they were partner. And I'm sure they had the good days and the bad days. But this was their life.
Yeah.
And then she has this story and she's trying to figure out. So, you know, I asked her, what can I do for you? Can I take you out to lunch? Can I take you out for a walk? Can we go for a walk? I said, I'll do whatever you need to do. But I was just moved me. I went to sleep thinking about it, just think the reality of life and what we take for granted. That what we take for granted, that how we get lost in resentments, pettiness.
Yeah, I know.
Because at the end of the day, what has happened is in the past. Right? What happened, it was that I heard this coach, and I think it's a Boston Celtics coach, I'm not sure, that he has saying is that, oh, yesterday is over. Today is the most amazing day. He says, today is the most amazing day. When I'm not a sports fan, but when I heard that on the announcement, he said, oh yeah, that's what he says every day. Today is the most amazing day. And I thought, that is absolutely true, because all holds the possibility to you making it amazing.
That's what we were talking about today.
Yeah.
Exactly, we were saying that now is the only, we
Yeah.
don't even know. Past is, we know,
Yeah.
is we cannot do anything.
Yeah.
Future, we don't even know we are here or not, so now is the only time.
Yeah. The only thing that is today's amazing, this is opportunity. If you didn't like yesterday, do better today. Make a happier day.
Yeah.
And then if you make a happier day, then tomorrow will be better.
Yeah.
Tomorrow will
Very
be better.
beautiful.
Yeah. So it's just that mantras that all played out last week of that. We continues to grow. We continues to grow. We have to grow. If we're not going to grow, what's the point of it?
That's the point.
Yeah. Because, I used to have a lot of saying different things, but I won't go through it today, because I used to say to my husband, if I only came here, I guess I'm saying it, if I only came here to just live and figure out how I was going to put a roof over my head and et cetera, I said, I might as well just kill myself right now. I said, that's not why I'm here.
People need to really understand that, because that's not it. Yeah.
And then there's a lot more. But that would be something that I really want for all of you to just spend a little bit of time thinking about it, because 3 of you said, no, I wouldn't have chosen. I'm with you. That was my reaction. I wouldn't have chosen this life. Are you out of your mind? Like, I did this deliberately?
Much, it's exhausting.
But if this is the path of what you want, why not? If this is the only way that you can get to your prize or whatever that you want to achieve, this is just a path. This is just a path. Not forever.
Yeah.
But this is this is necessary, it must be, and it cannot be any other way. You cannot get to that what you seek. You cannot get to your beloved without going through this journey that you are on and only you can be on and nobody else.
That's good, very good.
So, any questions?
No, when I think about myself, I said today is the day where I can control what I do. Now I have kind of at least acknowledged that what I think and what I feel inside, I'm under control. Right? I should be controlling what's happening inside me. And if I am able to get to that stage where I can control my both thoughts, emotions, and what path I want to go, I will go. So I essentially always keep that in my mind and try to essentially hold myself that this is the path that we're going to be going. And today is the beautiful time, Friday is the beautiful time. Doesn't matter what happens around me, I'll always try to be pleasant, always try to be, don't let outside factor affect how I feel inside.
Right.
That's what I keep on reiterating and keep on emphasizing myself.
Right, and that's beautiful. And I think you already are doing it. From my understanding, is one of the things that I worry about sometimes with people is we are so disciplined. Some people either they have no discipline or they have too much. It's like I must be this way, that dogma, and that's not good either. So when you say that you want to be happy. So because at the end of the day, I think also when we do the right things for ourselves, makes us happy. It brings us peace. When we do things that is not right, it doesn't make us happy. And you have to hold all that tension within your own body. So that's not good. So it's really refining the place that what brings us peace. What brings us peace. Doing right by our higher self, it is the most highest honor thing that we can do for ourselves. And then byproduct of that from ourselves is the benefit of that all that surrounds us. But if you can really get to it, not because it's going to make somebody happy, not because somebody's going to approve of me, not because somebody's going to like, those are all conditions. That is just like more and more prison that you have to live up to. And at the end of the day, when we die, I usually say to people, do you think they're going to switch body with you? You know, when it's time to die? Do you think they're going to pay your bill? You know, I mean, what's up with this? It is that we all need to do what is necessary for our evolution. And also, end of the day, is that when we do things to please other people, it's nothing more than a currency. You become slave to that. So, right? It's like some woman would say, well, you know, you made my boyfriend happy, you made my husband happy, so I did this and I did this and that. And then you become that condition because but at the same time, it didn't necessarily come from a loving place because you wanted to be accepted, because you wanted to be loved, because you want to be seen. Yeah. So it's how do we get to a place? You do the right things in life. When I say right things, meaning not for the approval of others, but doing things that is right for you, then you don't need anybody else's approval. You don't need anybody else's approval. Anybody else's approval is a bonus because they happen to like it, right? But it's that everything else. So that's how we get to it. That is our journey. So the homework for all of you is really just kind of, if you could take notes and write about it. And as you say, because you might say now, like, no, I would have never done it. But if you really begin to get honest and look at yourself and look at who you are, look at what you're, and all that, you may come to the same conclusion I did.